The parliamentary system, the chief minister is the real executive authority. In other words, the governor is the head of the state, while the chief minister is the head of the government. The chief minister is appointed by the governor of the state. The term of chief minister is not fixed. He may remain as the chief minister as long as he enjoys the support of the majority of the members of the legislative assembly. He has to resign when he loses the confidence of the majority of the assembly. It is understood that normally he completes 5 years term like other members in the legislative assembly. Powers and functions of the chief minister recommends the persons who are to be appointed as ministers by governor. He allocates portfolios for them among the ministers. He shuffles and reshuffles his ministry. He presides over the meetings of the councils of ministers and influences his decisions. He guides, directs, controls, and coordinates the activities of all the ministers relating to the governor. He advises the governor in relation to the appointment of the following officials: Advocate General of the state, the State Election Commission, Chairman and members of the State Public Service Commission, Chairman and members of the State Public Commission. Mm, Advocate General of the State Election Commission advises the governor in relation to the appointment of the officials like the Advocate General of the State Election Commissioner, Chairman and members of the State Publication Commission, and Chairman and members of the State Planning Commission. So he Chairman and members of the State Finance Commission. So relating to the state legislature, Chief Minister advises the governor with regard to summoning and proroguing the sessions of the state legislature. He announces the government policies on the floor of the House. He can introduce the bills in the legislative assembly. He can recommend for the dissolution of the legislative assembly to the governor any time. Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the state legislature. All the members of the Council of Ministers must be the members of the state legislature. Those who are not members at the time of their appointment must secure the seats in the legislature within a period of 6 months. If no confidence motion is passed by the legislature assembly, the state minister shall resign. Article 163 provides for a council of ministers to aid and advise the governor. According to Article 163(1), there shall be a council of ministers with the chief minister at the head to aid and advise the governor in the exercise. There shall be a council of ministers according to Article 163 to aid with the chief minister to aid the head to aid and advise the governor in the exercise of his functions, except and so far he is by under this constitution required to exercise his functions and any of them. Article 164 holds that the chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. Article 64 states that the total number of ministers, including the Article 164(1) states that the total number of ministers, including the chief minister and the council of ministers in the state. Article 164(1) states that the total number of ministers, including the chief minister and the state council of ministers in the state, shall not exceed 15% of the total number of members of the legislative assembly. The function of members of the council of ministers: it formulates and decides the policies of the state and implements them effectively, decides the legislative programs of the legislative assembly and sponsors all important bills. It controls the financial policy and decides the tax structure for the public welfare of the state. It makes the important appointments of the head of the departments. It discusses and takes efforts on the dispute with other states. It frames the proposal for incurring expenditure out of state reserves. It decides all the deals whether ordinary or money bills we introduce in the legislative assembly. Each minister of the council of ministers supervises the controls and coordinates the department concerned. Annual financial statement called as budget is finalized by the council of ministers. The constitution provides legislature for every state. Most of the states have unicameral legislature. Some states has bicameral legislatures. For example, Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana have bicameral legislatures. The lower house legislative assembly represents the people of the state, or the upper source. The upper house legislature council represents special interests like teachers, graduates, and local governments. Whereas the Legislative Assembly is a popular house, it is the center of power in the state. It consists of members directly elected by the peoples on the basis of adult franchise. The strength of the assembly varies from state to state depending upon the population. However, the maximum strength of the assembly must not exceed 500 or its minimum strength should not be below 60. The term of office of the Legislative Assembly is 5 years. It can be dissolved even before the expiry of its term. The size of the Legislative Council cannot be more than one-third of the membership of the Legislative Assembly, lower house of the state, but its size cannot be but its size cannot be less than 40. The Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu consists of 235 members, out of which 234 members are directly elected by the people, and one member is elected by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community. A smaller body called cabinet is the nucleus of the Council of Ministers. It consists of only the cabinet ministers. It is a real center of authority in the state government. The cabinet works through various committees. Like all cabinet committees, there are two types: standing and ad hoc. The former standing is permanent nature, while the latter is of temporary nature. Speaker: the Legislative Assembly elects two of its members as its Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The Speaker may be removed from office by a resolution of the Assembly after giving 14 days notice. Such a resolution must be passed by a majority of the members present at the time of voting. The Speaker does not vacate his office when the Assembly is dissolved. He continues to be the Speaker until the first sitting of the Assembly. While the office of the Speaker is vacant, the Deputy Speaker performs his functions. Legislative Council. The Legislative Council is the upper house of the state legislature. The Vidhan Parishad's Legislative Council forms a part of the state legislature of India. The sixth of the India's 28th states, the Legislative Council serves as the indirectly elected upper house of a bicameral legislation. It is also a permanent house. It cannot be dissolved. Every member of the Legislative Council, MLC, serves for 60 terms staggered so that the terms of one-third of members expire every 2 years. MLCs must be citizens of India, not under 30 years of age, mentally sound, and is named in the voter list of the state from which he is contesting the election. The Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly was abolished by Tamil Nadu Legislative Council Abolition Bill 1986. The act came into force on 1st November 1986. Election to the Legislative Council. One-third of the members are elected by local bodies. 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduates of the universities in the state. 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduate teachers. 1/3 of the members are elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly. 1/6 is nominated by the governor, who is eminent in the field of literary excellence, art, social services, or cooperation. The chairman is the presiding officer of the upper house. The members elect a chairman and a deputy chairman from among themselves. In the absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman officiates the functions of the Legislative Council. Article 169 deals with the creation or abolition of Legislative Council in a state. Article 169 holds that if the state Legislative Assembly passes a resolution by a majority of not less than two-thirds of the members present and voting, and by the majority of total strength of those requesting the Parliament to create or abolish the state Legislative Council, then the Parliament may by law provide for the abolition and creation of the Legislative Councils. The state legislature power can pass on all subjects mentioned in the state laws as per the constitution. The state-made law in a concurrent subject will be interoperative when the centre also passes a law on the same subject. The passing of bill into law follows the same procedure as in the Union Parliament. Every bill passes through 3 readings, then it becomes act with the governor's assent.